Welcome back. We've been kind of busy doing some other projects and stuff that's coming around, so we haven't had much time to do some videos, but we're going to try to get back into them so you guys can follow along. Today you can see what we're going to make today. It's going to be right here, what you see here in the picture, and we're going to make this one here. I'm going to show you guys step by step. It's an easy thing to do, and then of course when you make your first one, if you make your second one, you know, you always improve from the first one. So if you make mistakes on your first one, your second one you always make it better, and then you just go on and on. If you're making more of that to sell, so you're going to end up with you know, something that's really nice, because you know, and maybe you can put your touch on it, maybe a little bit different, or something like that, or a different color, or stain them or whatever. But we're going to show you today, and it is just a handful of wood. I've already started with this in here. You can see this is my left side. You got to make sure there's a left side and a right side, okay? And then when we put the right side together, I'm going to show it to you, make sure you guys can see it. But this is what it looks like. So I put this piece together for example. We're going to build another one just like this right here. We have right here on top, let's go ahead and give you guys the measurements off of it. The top handle, that's for the armrest. Armrest on this one is 15 3/4. So we got 15 inches by 3/4 inches this way, and then we have 2.5 inches wide. Okay, this will be the part where, you know, your arm's going to go up on. So now what I did is I pre-drilled some holes and stuff already. I did that even on the other one. I pre-drilled everything, and then on the back side here I have a couple marks. So here's the leg, the front leg, and that's going to go, like I said, we're going to have to go slow at this. It's going to go right here just like that. I measure from the front here back 1 inch and put a mark. Alright, let me turn it around this way. Make sure it's flush, just like this. Okay, and don't do no overhang. You really don't need to overhang on it anyways, unless you want to. But if you do, when you put it together, it's gonna be off. The back part will be off. But we'll do that 1 inch right here like this, and then I'll show you how the next piece. So first thing I'm gonna do is just lay it down like this. Okay, let me get some glue on it here. And that's why I put those marks on there. So I kind of put it just like that, as long as it's on a flat surface. Use a 2-inch screw. That's what I'm using for them, is 2-inch screws. Now you could probably use a longer one if you want on the handles, like going down through this wood. You could if you wanted to. Now I made those countersunk those in, so they'll go a little bit below, because I'm going to use a filler, or, well, actually I'll just use like a putty, like a wood putty on it, because I'm painting them all anyways. Okay, you can see it's flush right here up against here, and then I have 2 screws in it, and like I said, 1 inch here. But see, the thing is, what I did up here, I went ahead and ran the router all the way across. Then I stopped about 3.5 inches from the back up. Now that's because the back part's going to go up against this. The seating in the back's going to go against it, so I left it flat. You can round them off now, or you can round them off later, but it was easier just to run the router, you know, with it off. Okay, so here's your first one, and now what we're going to do is, here's another board here. Now this one is, I think I measured this one. Let me see. Let me make sure, because I have so many different angles. It's 21 and a half is what I got. So it was a straight board, of course, you know, straight across, straight, and it was 21 and a half inches from up here and then down here. Okay, and then I went ahead and cut an angle of 37 and a half degree here, 37 and a half degree, and then 37 and a half degree. Now you see how that thing's cut? with the angle this way and the angle this way. Okay, make sure you don't go the other way. And then when you see this, just make sure you mark it down on the board. And like I said, 37.5 degrees by 21 inches long. Just want to make sure you guys got that clear. I know I repeat myself a lot, but you know, I want to help you out. I want to make sure you guys, you know, get a nice one. You know, go ahead and learn how to do this kind of stuff. It's just so great. You know, just now if you have any problem these moving around and stuff on you, you know, you can always clamp them down on a table. So if I would take it like this and then go ahead and use one of my clamps here, seems to help out. Clamp down in there, and that way I don't have to worry about it moving on me. Okay, just like that. I'll give you this one more measurement here. I almost forgot. Now those, where I'm placing those screws at, you just decide on your own if you would like to have them, you know, where you'd like to have them at. Now, if you look here, I measured from the front back here, and I made a mark of 5.5 inches, and that's how I got this part right here. So I made sure that 5.5 inches from here front. Now, if you don't be careful when you build these, you're going to have them a little bit, you know, awkward. Probably get kind of mad, but you have to have a left and a right. See what I'm saying? You want a left and a right. So when you're making them, make sure one's turned down this way, and then one's turned this way. Just like that. Heads up on each side like this, and then you won't get the mistake. But if you cut all your pieces and lay your boards just like this right here, and then you'll know for a fact that, you know, this is like your left side and this is your right side. Now what I can do, I did over here, I put an L, so that's my left side, and I'll put an R over here, and this will be my right side, so I won't get them confused a little bit. Okay. Now what you have to do next is, well, we're going to do this. Let me set this off this side here and bring this up. Now I already made the seating part of it. To kind of get ahead of myself a little bit on the video, let me move these off to the sides here. And you can see we're going to do this frame here. So I'm going to give you measurements how to build this frame. But you can see how it's built with the small piece here in the middle, inside, and then the two longs on the outside. We'll give you that measurement on that. We are 14 inches. Okay. So you got two of them 14 inches. You get two of them 8.5 inches. And they're 1.5 by 1.5. Like you could take a 2x4 and make a lot of this out of 2x4. I did use these and made some of these out of a 1x. I think it was a 1x. Oh, it was a 1x3 because they got 2.5 inches. Each one is 2.5 inches, and they're all 14 inches. So I used 4 of these, like I said, on the 1x's, and they're 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5 by 14 inches long. Okay, so but remember now, what I like doing is trying to make it easy as possible. You can go ahead, if you have a pocket tool, but you can make pocket holes. You can put pocket holes back here, okay, and then you wouldn't see the screws here on the side. But for people that don't have it, like, you know, you might not have a pocket hole. That I don't want that to stop you from making it. So I'm making it a different way so it'll be easy for you to make it. Now I kind of sunk them down in a good way, so I can either put a dowel rod in them and cut them off and sand them, because it's going to be painted anyways. Or, you know, you can get wood filler and then put wood filler in there and then sand it off. Same thing. So whatever you have, you can do. So the measurement comes out on this thing when you're completely done. It'll be 14 inches wide by 11.5 inches. So just remember this measurement here. Go back and look. If you can't remember, go back and look. All right, so this part's done. So we come back over to the sides. So here's your seating. So we have to take this seating and put this seating on like this. Okay, that's the way the seating is going to go. Now, I measured up from here. Let me see. Let me get the right measurement off of it. 10 inches. Okay, so it would be right here. So I measured up from the bottom up to 10 inches. So there's a 10 inch right here. Okay. So that is 10 inches. Well, this is too, because all I used was a straight edge, you know, like a square. And then, of course, I took that square and put it across here like this. And I draw lines across it. So this board is 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches right here. So, okay. Well, let's see. Let's don't go too far because I still didn't give you all the measurements. So let's see. What did we do? Yes, we did something wrong. Let's don't do that. Let's go back and just give you this measurement. You guys didn't get this. This piece here. Let's finish this in here because I don't want to go back and answer them later. It's 2.5 inches wide, and then of course 1.5 inches. Okay, and then this one here is 3.25 inches wide by 1.5 inches. Okay, so you have to go back and look at the measurements I gave here, and then the measurement. I just forgot about that. Sorry about that, guys. And then of course, like I said, the handle is 2.5 inches. Okay, so I hope that didn't get you too confused. All right, back to the 10 inches up, and then your seating here. Not this part, the top of this, but the top of the frame. So if I would put a frame on there, just say this is the frame, it'd be like just like that. So the top of the frame, not top of that board, just top of the frame. And then make it come flush right to the end of it, right like that. So let me go ahead and get this one stuck on there. And that's why I did the pre-drilled and everything. So it would be a little bit more easier to get this put on there. I got to put a couple little places on there. Right there. A little backwards for not making videos for, you know, a couple weeks there, and then you kind of get off on. Get that lined up right there. Put a little glue on it. That looks good. Always check everything. So glue here. Alright, glue back here. Get that on there right. Sure I get that right above that frame, not above the seat. There. Now this one I have to look at here. Knocking things over today. Line that up. And glue here. Alright, let's see what we got. Well, that's nice, see? Just like it right there. What do you think? Now we have to just do the backing, and then we're all done. Like I said, I will probably just, you know, go through and plug these or put some wood putty in them, and then sand all this down. So the next thing we're going to have to do is the back. Let me see if I can get this turned this way for you guys. It's actually not off. It's my table thing here, see? It's that thing right here makes it off. But you can check and see if they're off. But it doesn't really make too much difference because you're going to be putting them in on the grass or something like that anyways. So we have two back pieces, and they are 14 inches. So we got two of them here by 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. And this has to be the back frame. The bottom seat frame is the same thing, 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. Now I cut this little angle on the back of it. Now that might be a little hard to get a hold of. What it does, it puts a little slope onto it like this, and then of course we'll pre-drill into you know, this part right here, drill. But what you do is, let me see if I can figure this out for you. Let's go down and measure down at 1.5 inches. Let's do that pencil again. So we're going to measure down 1.5 inches and put a mark just like that. Okay, and then measure in 1/2 inch. So if I was going to do it this way, you know, I would measure in 1/2 inch. Okay, and measure down 1.5 inches. Okay, and then of course you're going to put a line across there. You can use anything, put the line across there. Any kind of straight. That's what you got right there. Alright, and when I cut that on the miter saw, of course the miter didn't have that angle on it, so you can use it on your table saw if you have a table saw, or you can cut that with just a regular, you know, hand saw. I use the miter saw, but I cut it straight in. So, you know, you pull down like this, and then I put a board across it. It's not really what you're supposed to do, but you know, when you're doing things, you just do things. You gotta watch that wood don't kick back, make sure your table's set in. And then I put that angle on that and then cut it. So that's how I got it. So, and then of course, you know, pre-drill some holes in the back of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these stuck on there. I get that pre-drill in there. That pre-drill didn't go very well. Just run it to the bottom, right there to the bottom, and flush up against this back side, the leg. Now you can go back. I'll probably do it as soon as I'm done showing you guys. But you can go back later and put some more screws in it and make it more sturdier. But that's kind of like what you got right there. Okay, let's do the other one. Get in there. Okay, I'll turn around and let you see. I just bring it down at the bottom of this here. Just kind of match them up so they'll be the same. And then of course, you know, you got your, you have to put pre-drill through here. And then pre-drill on this side because you need some screws onto your handle here. And then just kind of line them up. If they're off a little bit, you just kind of pull them in place. This one's up a little higher, but we'll fix it here in a second as soon as I get a couple pre-drilled screws in it. Let me turn it over on the side. this side. Make sure they're even somewhat. Okay, we got, you can see the backings on it like this. This is the back of the chair. Now there is one board here that goes across this back part right here. Right here, okay? And let me get this up there, don't fall off of there. It is 11 inches by inch and a half, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and put that on there. Okay, we got our top board on up here. So what we do next is just kind of lay it down here. Now we have all together is 8 of these. So they're 2.5 inches by 14. Sometimes they don't want to fit, you know, exactly in between. So you know, you want to go ahead and go ahead and sand them down a little bit to make them fit. Now I am using a 1.5 inch staple. You can use 1.5 inch nails, that's fine if that's all you got. When I did this other one, I used screws, and I think it was just too much putting wood putty all over it, and it seemed like it did better. But I did make a 1/2 inch spacer, and your first one, you stick your first one on here, okay, and then the second one, you would use that 1/2 inch spacer. Get that lined up. Oh, the heck that thing did. Didn't put a staple out. Ain't that something? Maybe I got too many in it or something. Let's see. Oh, it's not loaded. It's loaded, but it's not, you know. Yeah, I think it's a lot easier using staples or brass, but I'm using a 1.5 inch, so they're pretty long. You can see, like that. That's a pretty long staple run down through there. And then we take our next one with a 1/2 inch spacer. And if you watch some of my other videos, you know, it's pretty much the same. I use the spacers between all, you know, pretty much everything. It's a little hard. It's kind of hard to do it. Like I gotta do something with a table. I gotta build me a table. This is just getting to be a pain. Well, there you go. Now this is it's really simple, but you know, you can pocket hole a lot of these, you know, with a screw. I didn't bother to do that because, like I said, I'll just put wood putty on it. Plus, I wanted to show you guys how to build it without one of those if you don't have it. Then, so I'm hoping I gave you guys all the measurements. We can go back over it because this is a little bit different than some of the other ones. We can start with this frame piece here for the seating. It's 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch. Okay, 14 inches, these two. And this cross here is 8.5 inches. Okay, so if I turn around again here, we're doing the same thing. The slats are all 14 inches. And then you got 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch. This is 14 inches. This is 14 inches. This is 11 inches. Okay. And then, so there's a lot of 14 inches in here. This part leg here, let's do it again. It's 1.5 inch by 2.5 inches, 15 inches high. So 15 inches high this way. This one here, length all the way down, is 21.5 inches by 3.25. Now, the reason how I got that 3.25 is you take a 2x4 and just kind of cut off the two sides on a table saw so it kind of square it up. Okay, so it didn't have the 2x4 roundness on it. So I cut it down to, 3.25. Okay, I really hope you guys are going to build these things and make a little bit of money off of this. This time of the year, everybody's outside. They're doing things, a lot of outside activity, as long as we don't hit the rain too much. Okay, before we go, there's one more thing I want to explain to you is that, the router thing's off. I routed all these boards here before I stuck them on. That way, it won't be so sharp. You don't have to, because if you want, you can lay something in it if your kid's in it, like a blanket or something like that. But the holes can be plugged up, no problem like that. So, okay, really nice project. It is. I do believe it's a pretty good money maker. I haven't sold any yet, but we plan on selling these ones, and then probably make some other things to go outside too. Okay, you guys have a great day, and thanks for watching.